Well, Bebe, before we get to those athletes and your career as a professional, where does this attitude stem from, man? Like, who is Bebe as a kid? Like, what was your upbringing, and how did you become this person? How were you formed into this person that would ultimately drive people like Priest to success?
From the beginning, I'm the baby out of 9 kids.
So this is where Bebe
So
comes
my
from, then I'm assuming.
That's where baby comes from because
Got it.
Bremon is my great grandmother's maiden name, and come to find out, they were white, and that's how I got my name. And so my mom named me that, and so my drive was I lived on the east side, which was where the Spurs played on that side of town.
Mhm.
And my goal was a little kid. I always played in the street, playing football, doing this, watching the Dallas Cowboys. I had a Dallas Cowboys uniform. And I always said when I was in elementary, I wanted to be a professional football player. And so I just kept on driving and driving. And when I got to middle school, our school was in the hood. When I say the hood, the projects were across the street.
Wow.
Like if
Okay.
you walk through the
Gotcha.
project, you had some guys sitting on the corner checking you. How much money you got? So, that's the kind of things we had to go through.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and my coach back then was Coach Lipscomb. I never forget this man. He built us to be champions. And I played tight end. I was a big kid back then. I was a little chunky kid, but I was kind of taller than everybody else. And we were winning. I mean, we won district championships and football, basketball. And then my 8th grade year, we did it again, but we got beat. And then I had to move to the north side, which was
Mhm.
over here on the north side here in San Antonio, to Roosevelt High School. And I knew I was good and I knew I had to train, but I was doing training on my own back then.
Mhm.
And my freshman year, I played running back, safety, kickoff return, punt return, and kickoff. I didn't come off the field.
I was gonna say, were you reffing as well? You were also the ref?
I think I was.
Yeah,
I think I
shoot, not
was.
only reffing, but shoot, he was also really like, yeah, bring the water bottles,
Yeah.
bring the tape for your ankles.
Yeah, yeah, you were the chain gang, you were everything, man, yeah.
I did it all, bro. And then me like a fool, I don't know where this came from. I wanted to be a quarterback. So my sophomore year, I thought I was gonna go play quarterback.
Mhm.
They put me on JV. I didn't even touch the field. That year I was gonna quit. I
Wow.
was gonna quit.
Okay.
And that because I was like, man, they playing with my career. They wouldn't even put me at safety. And I'm like, dude, what's going on here? But when track came around, my
Mhm.
sophomore year, they put me on varsity. And I hated track. I hated it. So this one guy talking about, man, he was a senior, man. Come on, man. I'm the fastest guy on here. I was like, okay, whatever. I hated it. I'm like, go ahead. And I kept on running and running and running. And then one track meet, that's when I met my good friend who knew Priest. His name was Mark McNeil.
Okay.
I was on the second leg in the relay. This dude was so fast, but he weighed about 230.
Wow.
And
Okay.
this dude was so fast. I was like, man, what the hell? So then it made me, I said, okay, if I'm going to be good, I have to keep on training hard.
Mhm.
District, when district came around, this was my sophomore year. I ran a 9.98. That's when they were in yards. And I did that in the preliminaries. We had preliminaries and then we had finals. So my coach come running up to me, man, you got the fastest time in the district right now. I said, I do. That's how clueless I was.
It's amazing.
So then when the finals come back around, this senior who went to my school, he was the district championship last year,
Okay.
which I was a freshman.
Mhm.
I bust his ass and I won it. So my coach come running over there again. You going to regionals. I said, what's that?
Yeah, what's a region? What are you talking
What's a
about?
regional? He said, man, you're going to Corpus Christi to run in regionals. And if you win regionals, you go to state. I said, I am. So I didn't know nothing about none of that. I said, okay, I'm going.
Right, right.
So I get ready for this. And my buddy, he was in another district, Mark. So he was just like the fastest. He was running like 9.5s and stuff back then. So I go to regionals, man. He bust everybody's butt. So he goes to state. I got beat, so I didn't have a chance to go to state. But after that track meet on the way back home, I promised my coach, I said, I'm going to state next year. Watch. He said, okay, I'm going to see. I said, okay, my ass. I said, I'm going to go.
Guarantee it. Yeah.
Dude, I guaranteed it. And so that next year, I come back in the spring after this track meet. We had spring ball. That's when they moved me to free safety.
Okay.
And I'm sitting on the sideline, and one of my best friends was starting at safety. He kept on messing up. So he ran off the field and the coach called me in. We were coming off the field and I was coming on. I told him, I said, you just lost your job. And dude,
wow.
That's when my career took off, my sophomore year. And then my junior year, I started at safety and I was just busting everybody's ass in football. Boom, boom. So that year, my junior year, out of 12, knocked that 12 I could have had 12 interceptions. 12. Guess how many I caught?
Of the potential 12? 2?
No. 2 out of 12.
Oh,
what happened? I couldn't see.
Okay.
So our school was right across the street from a mall. So they paid for me to go over to the mall to go get my eyes checked. They said, nah, ain't nothing wrong with you. So what it was, the glare off the lights was bouncing off my cheekbones.
Okay.
And it would blind me. So back then, we ain't know nothing about no blackout, none of that.
Right, right.
But again, I made all district, all city, I did all that. But when track season came around, I was busting everybody's ass every week. And then I went to regionals again. I won. So during that time, my buddy was a senior. He came in first and I came in second. So they take 2 people. So I went to state that year. And man, it was at University of Texas at the football stadium. Wow. And when I got down on that track, dude, I was just like, what the heck is this? Yeah. Man, because there was so many people there. Because UT got a big old deck. They got a lower deck and that big old tall deck. So that's the side we used to run 100 on. And I mean, it was probably like 20,000 people there.
Wow.
It was just like, man, I was so starstruck, man. I'm like, what the hell am I doing down here? And so my buddy, he was mad. He was like, man, come on, man, we're going to bust their butt. I said, okay. I said, let's go. Yeah. Dude, he shot out them blocks so damn fast. He broke the state record. He ran a 9.98 100 meters. Wow. He had the fastest time ever as a high school in the state of Texas in 1980.
Yeah. Let me put this in perspective, Mark. Yeah. Bebe's saying these different times when it comes to regionals and district and to state. Well, my senior year, I ran a 10.5. You know where a 10.5 gets you? Just to district. Like, that's it. Take your shoes off, take your cleats off. You're done running, sir. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A 10.5 won't get you pretty far after that. A 10.2 will get you to possibly state, but it ends there too for those guys as well, man. In Texas, there was some incredible fast athletes that came out of San Antonio and out of the state of Texas as well. So, some of these stories I hear Bebe talk about, some of them, I'm like, okay, hold on. How fast did you run? Because I know I ran a 10.5, but 10.5 didn't get you nowhere close to regional or to state.
Also, it just, people train for years to get those times. And for you to just like casually waltz up and be like, what am I doing? Oh, okay, I'll just run from here to here. And then you're at state. Like, that is, first of all, that's just pure talent, right? And
you know what's so crazy? When I was in middle school, I was just a chubby kid. I was always last. So I had a chance to run against my old classmate because they went to another school and I went to this school. So we came to one big track meet.
Yeah.
They were like, man, what the hell did you do to get so fast? I was like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. But it was the way I prepared myself way back then.
Yeah.
Because, back then we ain't had no trainers or nothing like that back then.
I love that old school mentality. I love that old school mentality. I mean, just hearing you talk about flipping tires and pulling using chains and like those old school, like, my brain goes right to like Rocky, this guy's chasing chickens around, trying to catch them and stuff. And that's how you get quick and fast and get good hands. That old school stuff, you can take all the technology you want in the world and you can have these state-of-the-art training facilities and machines, but it's just not the same.
And that's how I am with my training. If we would have had social media back when he was training, when I was training all those guys, I'll probably be one of the top trainers right now. I still think I am, but I'm very old school, and I do a little bit of new school stuff. And that's when I think a lot of guys like me, because I do it both.
Okay.
But majority of the time, I'm still old school. And that's what makes people a lot better. Why are you going to get away from the stuff that works? And then you want to try to dip and dab in some of this new stuff that you don't really know about? And so that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm sticking with my old stuff because I know it works. Priest had one injury when he was with me.
Okay.
And it was his hip. And that was caused because he got dragged down.
Horse collar.
Right.
Collar.
And there's nothing
Which
you
is,
can do
by the
about
way,
that.
banned right now.
Yeah,
so
I know. Totally.
I had to go through some of those injuries. Like, so before me, it was Bo Jackson, right?
Right, Bo Jackson.
With horse
famously.
collar. Then, of course, there were probably several other guys, you know, between that time to when I sustained the injury. But that horse collar is one of the things that obviously, had that been outlawed, you know, during the time that I was playing, definitely probably would have played probably 2 or 3 more seasons. But it's one of those unfortunate things that happen, man. You know, it's like you get tackled every day when it comes to playing football in practice and the game, and you never think about the injury that's going to possibly injure you. But it was one of those little situations where I'm running against Denver Broncos, running for the end zone, and one of the guys comes across, dives, grabs the back of my jersey, and I'm thinking he's either going to let go or I'm just going to brush him off with, you know, just with throwing my shoulders to the right. And but he doesn't let go, and he just pulls me all the way down to the ground with his body weight. So I'm glad that that's been outlawed. You know, at least guys now, you know, following me can benefit from that as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Breaking news from Bet365. New customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets. Win or lose. Sign up, place a bet for $5 and get $150 in bonus bets. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, player props, futures, and so much more.
Hey, do you have a gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia. Or 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 21 plus only, 18 plus in Kentucky. Please gamble responsibly. Must be present in Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, and select parishes in Louisiana, Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia. $10 minimum deposit required. Terms and conditions apply. In-app only.
This has been a Playmaker production.